Hi there, my name is Kronenberg and welcome to my channel. You might be wondering what's going on. This is Demon Mark and Russian Saga. It's an adventure indie RPG text-based game. The developer and publisher is Choice of Games. Came out in 2017. It's got 4 reviews at the moment, therefore no ratings, and it's currently for £5 on Steam. And it boasts in 200,000 words. And it doesn't tell you here, that's good. Oh, it does, it's by Lorraine Fryer and Vladimir Barish, if that's how you say his name. So I've never played one of these before. I play all types of games in my channel, as many people probably have seen if you've watched any of my stuff, ranging from, I don't know, RPGs or RTSs or cartoony games or shooting games or whatever. But you know, somebody's made this game, so why not play it? So I'm not gonna. Well, you can read through that. So there's no graphics, no sound, and whatnot. I'll tell you what I think it might be, but I might mention it at the very end. Okay, so I'm gonna play for free. Right, so I'm gonna read it out loud. Here we go. Although I might lose my voice at the end of it, so you might have to just just go for it. Your tale begins a long time ago in the land of Rus, in a small peasant village. Started already. You had a simple childhood, playing with your friends and learning the things you needed to know as you neared adulthood. In the meantime, your parents worked hard to keep you fed and safe. Do not be alarmed by the story's humble beginnings, gentle player. This is a time of terrible monsters and great heroes. A time of hungry dragons, wise witches, or giants as tall as mountains. A time of grand adventures as Bogatais, guardians of peace and justice, travelled the thousands of miles across the land to root out evil. You may meet a few of these exciting characters as you write your own adventure, but for now, let us return to the beginning. Oh, by the way, it's based on Russian folklore. Your tale begins in a small peasant village. You wake up to the sweet, heavy smell of tea. Oh, that's good, because I'm drinking one now. It's late. On most other days, you would have been up long ago and putting the tea kettle on yourself. Your parents put you in charge of the morning tea 2 years ago on your 12th birthday. It was a sign that you were no longer fully a child, that you expected to pull your own weight at home. At first, when you smell the tea, you panic. Did you sleep so late your parents had to make it themselves? Then you remember that today is no regular day. You have a different responsibility this morning. It's your sibling's birthday. You can hardly remember your life before your sibling was born. For some years it was just you and your parents, although your village had many children your age, and you were never lacking for friends and playmates. But your sibling is special. Ever since their appearance in your family, you have looked out for them. What name did your parents give your sibling when it came time for their name choosing ceremony? So this is the interactive bit, like the RPG thing. Let's have Sergei. At first you were jealous of Sergei. Your parents stopped giving you as much attention as you've been used to, instead constantly hovering over the crying baby. When they were out working, you were instructed to keep watch over all this newcomer. You resented that you were no longer free to play around as you'd been before. Play around, okay. But then you realised you could play with Sergei. You could make funny faces at him until he made funny faces back. You could tickle him until he laughed, and then you would laugh at how silly his laughter sounded. As Sergei grew up, you taught him all the best places to play, and how you could fetch a drink when you got thirsty, and what berries are good to eat. You began to read together, teaching Sergei as your parents had taught you to read when you were young. The two of you became friends and confidants, sometimes staying up long into the night, telling each other stories until your parents grumbled at you to be quiet. You remember one morning very well when Sergei was about 5. He walked up to you with a determined expression. I have a question. Can you help? Yes, he responded, curious of what might be on your sibling's mind. Why can't he be a brother? I don't want to be a boy. Sergei looked a little nervous about what he might say. You didn't know what he was thinking about, so you chose your words carefully. That's all right. You don't have to be a boy. Do you want to be a girl instead? Oh, God. This bloody new stuff. Sergei shook his head empathetically. No, none of that either. I don't want to be a boy or a girl. Can I do that? modern day you can. You nodded slowly, although you didn't understand wanting to be neither a boy nor a girl. Some children in the village had made similar declarations over the past few years. Sergei's question was not so very strange to you. Sergei, you remember my friend, Shura? Shura decided on a year ago that they weren't a boy or a girl just like you, so you see it's perfectly fine. Sergei grinned widely up at you. Thank you, I'm going to tell our parents now. And with that they ran off to find your parents. You had to... They ran off? He ran off to find your parents. You had returned to your chores thinking about the conversation you just had with your sibling. You were surprised, of course, but you also found yourself feeling really good. As you cleaned up and started out to find Sergei, to see if you could entice him into a game before supper, you realised that you felt proud. Proud of yourself for being someone Sergei felt comfortable enough with to talk about how they were feeling, and proud of them for being so confident. Several years have passed since that day. You were younger than Sergei than is now. As you have grown up together, you've built a lot of trust, and you know they rely on you to teach and protect them. How does this make you feel? I will go proud, yeah. You've always been there for Sergei, and you are sure you will never let him down. They are family, and family help each other, no matter what. You want Sergei to know that even if it is the middle of the night, and you've had a long day, that he can still ask you to find a lost toy, or talk through a problem until you find a solution together. So I'm drinking a cuppa at the same time as I lose my voice. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Today your siblings marks the end of their 10th year. You walk over the cot. They are still sleeping. Cot. What is the first thing you say to Sergei on their birthday? Your sibling rolls over with her eyes. What? Oh, it's my birthday today. They jump out of bed and embrace you. Okay, so the word should be he. Thanks for waking me up. I've been looking forward to this day for weeks on end, thinking about all the games we'll play and the treats we'll eat. There's hide and seek, and then one way pretend to be bugger ties and tag. Oh, and our father will probably bake our favourite pierogi. Oh, I hate pierogi. The ones with stuffed with potato and mushrooms. Your siblings hurriedly pull on their day clothes and tug at your sleeve. What do you want to do first? In case you're curious what pierogi is, just think of ravioli kind of thing, but without meat. But done in a different way, that's what pierogi is. It's kind of. What do you want to do first? Alright, let's say I've lost my sword and shield. Alright, they sigh. Let's find your sword and shield and then let's play. You look under your bed, in the kitchen, and find in the closet where Sergei finds your wooden sword and shield hidden away. You remember now. Last week your mother took them. Sod. She said that you were getting too big for wooden swords and shields. You asked to play with her real metal weapons, but she just shook her head. You look around surreptitiously. God help me. There is no sign of your mother. Without thinking twice, you take your toys from your sibling, then motion them to meet you outside. Outside is a beautiful sunny day with a few white clouds floating lazily through the sky. The two of you are playing one of your favourite games where you tend to be bugger tires. I don't know what one of them is. All your lives you've heard story about the mighty Ilya Muromets, the bogatire who could bend horseshoes with one hand, the wise Maria Morevina who captured a necromancer and held him in her cellar for years, the pious Alyosha Popovich, whose faith guarded him like a shield against dragonfire. You know your favourites by heart, and sometimes dream that you may meet one of the great heroes someday. My God. Today you have invented a quest to claim the magical ring of the king beneath the earth, which you have determined is hidden in a nearby tree. First, however, you and your siblings must fight a fierce seven-headed dragon, a bush with prickly thorns. By the way, if this goes over 20 minutes, I don't care. After a long battle with the dragon, you declare victory. With boisterous cheers, you set off to discover the powerful artifact and recover for the glory of Russia. You reach the tree. It is old and large. You and your siblings will need to split up if you wish to find the door to the kingdom beneath the earth, hidden in its bark. You take the side close to home. Your sibling goes to the other side of the tree. You spend several minutes pressed close to the bark, studying its crinkles and cracks. You become deeply absorbed in your search, tracing your fingers along the wood inch by inch, looking for the sliver of dark that will betray the edges of a hidden door. After a few minutes you are squatting down next to the tree, squinting the bark just past your nose. You realise it has gotten dark. You wonder if you've been in this spot for hours. You look up at the sky. It's full of storm clouds. The clouds are deep and heavy. Small flashes of lightning light up at the undersides. A wind picks up and rushes past you, suddenly loud in your ears. Scared, you call out to Sergei. There is no answer. You're trying to stand, but your legs are wobbly for being in the same position for so long. You call out again. No answer. Where could they be? You half crawl, half walk to the other side of the tree. What you see there is a sight so surprising that you freeze in place. A woman kneels beside Sergei, her features thin and pointy. You notice sharp claws at the end of her fingers, tusks protrude from the side of her mouth. She is whispering something into your sibling's ear. Sergei says something in reply, although you cannot tell what. It sounds as though they are speaking a language you've never heard before. The woman laughs, but it is not the warm laughter of your family. The sound is cold and rough, like a knife scraping over a plate. She replies to your sibling in the same language. Then she stands. You watch her get taller and taller and taller, until she is taller than anyone you've ever seen. Now you notice her clothing. What you thought was a simple black cloth is instead sinuous, like the skin of a small snake you once saw slide into a book. Strange designs move independently around the fabric. You call to Sergei again, and once again they do not reply. The stranger hears you, though, and turns to you. What do you do? Yeah, okay, I'll try that. You stamp over towards the pair and plant yourself firmly between the stranger and your sibling. You are older, and it is your job to be brave. Stay back, you command, try and sound like your mother when she is frustrated. You hope you can alarm the woman enough that she will go away and leave you in peace. Your sibling stands quietly behind you. Oh, there are two of you, the woman says in surprise, suddenly speaking your own language. How delightful. She kneels down in front of you. She is now very close to you. You try not to look too hard at the moving patterns on her garment. You can see surprisingly normal teeth alongside her strange tusks. Do you like games, little child? You nod before you can help yourself. You aren't sure if it is wise to tell the woman anything, but the thought comes a few seconds too late. It's normal. Wonderful, she breathes, smiling widely. So do I. My favourite game is hide and seek, and I would love to play now. I prefer hiding, so I shall hide and you shall seek. Indicating your sibling, she continues, This lovely child will hide with me. You can come find us if you wish. A game doesn't seem so bad to you. You are still nervous, though. You have begun to wonder where the woman came from. You were absorbed in your hunt for the door in the tree bark, but you somehow have the feeling that no matter what you've been doing, she would have surprised you. You cannot hide in the woods, you tell her. We're not allowed there without our parents. Will you hide in the village instead? She chuckles, a low rumbling sound that rings in your ears. I do not think we will hide in the village. Where we will go will be for me to know and for you to find out. But I play fair, so I'll give you a little help. Then she reaches out and touches you lightly behind your ear. You flinch away from her cold claws. They rest on your skin for a moment, and you begin to feel a strange sensation. It clarifies into a small, focused, burning feeling, but no sooner do you gasp from the pain than it disappears. You pull away from the woman and grimace. Before you can think of something to say, she stands and snaps her fingers, and in a flash has disappeared from sight. You let out a breath in relief, then you turn to sibling and they are gone too. What do you do? Let's try that one. You run into your village and find one of your neighbours in front of their home. Have you seen a tall woman with strange clothing and long sharp claws? You ask them. They look at you and raise an eyebrow. No, but I've never seen anyone like that in my life. She was just here. She took my sibling for a game of hide and seek, and I'm supposed to find them. Your neighbour bends down and takes you by the hand. Child, we'd better find your parents. They walk you over to where your parents are hard at work preparing the birthday dinner. You rush over and hug your father, and your mother walks over and says, What is wrong? Your child says that a stranger took Sergei for a game of hide and seek, your neighbour says gravely. I'm worried it might not be a game. Your eyes begin to tear up. It's starting to hit you that Sergei may really be gone. It takes a few minutes, but you manage between gasps and sobs to tell your parents what happened. Your father staggers over to a bench and almost falls upon it. Sergei, he stutters, then looks up at your mother. We've lost Sergei. Dear, don't be too hasty, she says. I'm sure they just made a new friend. I will go look for them. But your mother's voice is steely, and when she heads out, she carefully takes a sword off the wall and slides it through her belt. You rush over to your father's side. He wraps you in a tight embrace. You see tears running down his cheeks. You stroke his beard. "Oh, child," he whispers, "I am sorry. I am probably crying over nothing. I hope your mother and Sergei are back soon." After a long while of crying, your father gets up and puts on some tea. He makes whortleberry tea for both of you, and takes you to bed and puts a blanket over you. You curl up and listen to the sound of your mother coming back. You jump as soon as you hear the footsteps across the threshold. Then you see a long face. "I looked around our dwelling, at all our neighbours' homes, and on the main road," she says, "but no sign of Sergei. Our friend Semyon got some villagers together to comb the rest of the homes. Nothing." Your father, who is waiting by your side, grows pale. "Could Sergei be somewhere else in the village?" "Maybe," your mother says. Her voice wavers. "I don't think so, dear." Your father cries out and falls to his knees. Your mother rushes over to him. You join them, and the three of you sob until your head hurts and your mouth is dry. You gently extricate yourself from your parents and walk over to the pitcher to get a glass of water. Your mother turns to look at you. "What's that on your neck, child?" What do you tell your mother? Yeah. You feel the back of your neck as you speak. It's oddly cool and has a strange oily texture. Your mother draws in a quick breath. "That is not good," she says, walking over the sink. She takes a bar of soap and a pitcher of water. "What's not good?" "The mark on your neck. I've never heard of it before." "Oh, I've heard of it before," your mother continues, rubbing the soap across your neck. "My mother told me stories of demons putting the mark on us common folk as a cruel game." She washes the soap down with water. "These stories say if you scratch it with your fingers, the demon mark will make you stronger and faster." "So why are you trying to get it off me?" "Because," your mother says, in between rubbing your neck with a brush so hard it hurts, "the stories end badly. The mark is a curse. It consumes its wearer, who becomes a demon in turn." "Is it coming off?" you ask timidly. "No," she cries out and flings the soap across your home. It lands in the corner with a thud. You jump back. "I'm sorry, child, I can't. I do not know anyone who knows how to remove these. Maybe one of the powerful priests in Kiev could." Your mother shows off. "It was bad enough that a demon took one of our children today. She had to put a curse on the other one." She began to cry again and will not stop no matter how much you and your father try to console her. At last you are too tired to stay awake with your parents. You stumble off to bed and collapse. You dream of your skin being covered with dark tendrils. You see demon claws in place of your fingernails. You see your sibling before you and reach out to them, but they run away screaming. Don't know how long since. You wake up covered in sweat. The sun is high over the horizon. You stumble over to the kitchen. Your father is there stirring the pot of thick porridge. "Have some breakfast, child," he says as he pours you a big bowl. You scrape up a little porridge with his spoon. What is your sibling eating now, you wonder? Or rather, what is the demon feeding them? Stale bread? Raw meat? What if she eats people and is making a sibling do the same? Stomach turns and you put down your spoon. "I'm not hungry," you tell your father. You run off before you can protest. You find your mother sitting on the ground staring at a scroll of figures. "Can I help you?" "Help?" you ask her. "No," she said flatly. "But I want to learn about these figures. Leave me alone." She cuts you off. Your mother snaps the scroll shut and buries her face in her hands. You come close and put your arms around her. She wraps one arm back around you, but she doesn't look at you. You can feel her shaking in your grasp. "Mother, please stop shaking," you beg, but she does not respond. You pull back. You don't understand why she won't talk to you. Have you done something wrong? You leave the room and run outside. Perhaps if you play for a while, things will go back to normal back at home. Well, as normal as they can be when you've just lost your brother. You try to play tag with your friends, but they will not come out of the house. Homes. Your friend Layla shouts from inside her home that she is scared of the demon coming back. You look for animals to play with the forest, but no little creatures peek out of the holes as you approach. You wander the main street of your village alone until the sun starts to set. Your mother's sharp words ringing in your ears. How do you feel about her angry outburst? Yeah, I feel bad for her. She just lost her youngest child. She's not angry at you, she's just hurting, and you need to support her. At long last you grow tired and head home. The wonderful smell of cooked potatoes tickles your nostrils as you cross the threshold. You run to the kitchen to see your mother and father chewing their food in silence. They look up at you and wave you over. Their eyelids are red and swollen. I am sorry I shouted at you, child, your mother says. I just can't believe what's happened. Your father gently strokes her shoulder. You sit back at the table in silence, waiting to hear kind words. It will be all right. Your siblings will come back. The sun will rise tomorrow. Your parents say nothing. You rise up and head to bed. Maybe we'll get their words back in the morning. You wake up in the middle of the night. Your forehead feels warm. You call out to your parents. They rush over. Water, you beg, but your throat is dry and swollen. You take a few sips from the jug your mother brings and falls back into a fevered dreams. You toss and turn in your bed, sweating under the blankets. You dream of your siblings' abduction. The scene plays out over and over in your head. Every time you see the demons reach for your sibling, you wonder, what if I'd done something different? Would they still be sleeping next to you if you had? Suddenly your dream changes. A scene from when you were very young comes into focus. Your name choosing ceremony. Because you were sickly as a child, your ceremony came late enough that you remember it. What name did your parents choose for you? I'll be Arja. Does the name fit the way you feel about your gender? Yeah. As your dream continues, you remember travelling through your home village on the way to your name choosing ceremony. Memories of your village summon forth images of your people, the way they work and play, and the kind of stories they tell. What do your people call themselves, and what stories do they love about above all others? Mice, grey wolf, dragon, humans. Okay, I'll go with this one. How have I got an achievement? It's a demo. Okay, that's right. The Canty lives in chums, tents covered in birch bark or animal skins. Your chum is made with long poles, leaning in a conical shape, covered with reindeer skin to keep out the wind. In the winter, you do much of your hunting on the wooden skis to stay atop the snow. Your clothing is made from reindeer skin, which keeps you warm in winter. In the summer, you wear brightly coloured vestments that are embroidered with beasts along the collar and cuffs. Once in a while, whenever a hunter kills a bear, your village gathers for a ceremony. This ceremony usually lasts several days and involves songs and stories about your people's relationships with the mighty animals. Your village will seek forgiveness and permission to remain friends with bears, for your people know that bears are not mere beasts, but protectors of the village from demons and monsters. You have always known the importance of the neutral world and your place in it. Your fevered mind wanders onto the events that followed your name-choosing ceremony. As exciting as the day had already been, what comes after was even more memorable. On the journey home, you performed a feat great for someone of your age, news of which spread quickly throughout the village. What kind of feat did you perform? This is weird. I'm playing the demo and I've just gotten an achievement. You were riding back home with your parents and some neighbours in a large cart when the horses veered off to the left suddenly, jolting you all nearly off the cart. The man driving the cart was a strong neighbour who you know as Semyon, the father of your friend Layla. He pulled back on the reins to stop the horses. After a few tense moments, the cart rolled to a stop and Semyon jumped off to calm the horses, who were pulling at the reins and pawing nervously. Your mother stood and called out, "What is the matter, Semyon? What has happened to spook the horses?" Semyon called back after a moment that he had no idea, but he was going to investigate. Your mother declared that the group should take a break while the cart was stopped, and begin shooing everyone out to stretch their legs. You followed suit and wandered over towards the horses to see how they were doing. As you stood watching Semyon soothe them, you thought you heard a tiny noise like a whimper of distress. You walked slowly around the cart, trying to figure out where the noise came from. It seemed to come from the cart itself. Finally, you realised that the noise was louder on one side of the wheel, and you ducked down and looked from underneath. What could be small enough to have gone unnoticed by everyone? You craned your neck uncomfortably sideways when you spotted what looked like a tiny furry ear sticking out between the spokes of the wheel. You tentatively poked a finger in that direction and touched a warm, soft body which let out another distressing whimper. Poor thing. Now that you knew where it was, you could find it from outside. You brought your head back out from under the cart and located the tiny animal trapped between the two spokes. You reached in and managed to cradle it between your hands, pulling it gently from the wheel. It was a wolf pup, with soft downy fur and his eyes still closed. One tiny paw had been trapped between the wheel and the axle. It looked broken. and the pup made loud noises of distress when you touched it lightly. There was also a nasty gash on its head. It was bleeding freely. The tiny animal snuggled into your hand, whimpering, and tried to nurse on your finger. What have you found, Asa? Your father was behind you, peering over your shoulder. You had been so absorbed by the animal that you hadn't heard him come up behind you. You put your hands out so that he could see the tiny wolf, and when he saw what you held, he drew in his breath sharply. That pup is not going to live much longer. They're grievous injuries for an animal 10 times its size, and this one cannot take care of itself. The kindest thing to do to end its suffering. How do you react to your father's words? Okay, I am actually going to stop here, I think, because I don't know how long this goes on for. So I'm going to, the reason why it's because I got an achievement. So I'm just looking, because this is what I'm saying. I don't want to keep on going because I don't know how much this demo is, and I don't want to realise that the game might be the whole story and then find out that I've played it for free or something. Which I don't think I will. Humanity, pride, okay. Right. Oh, hang on a sec. Okay, so I'll give my little review of it. So it actually looks, I mean, some people might not like this kind of game because it's just reading. But if you think about it, people read books all the time. Or Kindles, I suppose, if you really want to. But I read the actual, paperback copies. Currently reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is intense to say the least. I've seen the film, but trust me, the book is nothing like it. Whichever film you've watched. So it's basically like that, and it's just making your own story as you go along, and there could be many ways of doing this. I mean, you could play the same bit, the bit that I've just done, but choose a different thing. Maybe play hide and seek. Maybe tell my parents straight away instead of going to see somebody else. You know what I mean? It's just things like that. It kind of reminds me of these books you used to get that were like not Dungeons and Dragons, but them sort of things. And you start off, and then at the bottom of the page it says, fight the elephant. Go to page 12. Run away and hide. Go to page 54. And you kind of go back and forth, and the whole story kind of makes sense because the story's in a different way. If you read it from start to finish, it will make a damn bit of sense. But because the way you do it, you make your own story, and I like that. And I like this. It's a good idea. I might even get this, but if I did play this, I will probably not speak because it's 200,000 words. My brain and my voice would disappear, and it would just be. And I don't know if I'd want to do it on YouTube because it's. Don't know. For me, don't know. But it's not a bad game, for what I can see. If you don't like all that, graphics and stuff, which is what most games are, 99.9% of them. But there are some people out there that just want to read, and if you want to read and do a little bit of, well, yeah, I can understand why they're doing this, but why do they always do that? Well, then you get a choice, and I don't know what the colour would be, but you can. The website has other things as well. Oh, there's a black background. That might be better on your eyeballs. Sepia? Don't know what that is. Well, I'll go back to black. Black's quite nice. I like black. It's easier on your eyes. Look, if I return to the game, I don't actually know. Don't know. Maybe me just go back to sepia. Oh god, sorry about that, my eyes are just giving up. Anyway, so hopefully you've enjoyed watching this review of Demon Mark, Russian Saga. I am kind of curious how it would end, but I didn't want to carry on going purely because I don't know how it would end, and I don't want to sort of ruin it. Anyone who wants to play the demo, then now you can, and don't worry about what I've just shown you because it doesn't show you the end. There's other things. So I have other reviews in my channel, none like this though, and I have some RPGs, but not, like I say, nothing like this. Anyway, like I say, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Give me the old thumbs up if you want to, subscribe, and if you've played this game, put in the comments, you know, do you like this kind of stuff, or does it bore you? I mean, like I say, everyone is their own way, but for me, I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was a light-hearted way of playing the game. Okay, thank you and goodbye.